Sports Interaction, Canada Sportsbook.
Think you know what way it's going to go? Make your bet at Sports Interaction. Whether it's hockey, football, or basketball, Sports Interaction has you covered. Bet pregame, live and play, or on one of our many prop bets. Sports Interaction makes it easy to deposit, play, and cash out. Join now and see all that sports betting has to offer. Want to bet? Head to sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. That's sportsinteraction.com/SDPN. 19 plus. Please play responsibly. Oilers win! They beat the Toronto Maple Leafs 5-2 in regulation. Should have been 7-0 at one point. This was an absolute domination by one team. One team showed up to play. One team showed up to play, put on a defensive clinic, an offensive clinic. I'm always so nervous. I'm always so stressed when we play the Leafs. There's just another level to these games. The Oilers always seem to lose to the Leafs, but this game, the addition of one Matthias Ekholm, holy shit, what a difference maker. This was a phenomenal performance. I could not be more jacked. I had a smile on my face from the moment puck dropped to the moment regulation ended. Justin Hall got absolutely tuned up. He should be sent down to the ECHL. He should be banned from hockey. That guy needs to go to therapy for what Ryan Nugent-Hopkins did to him. That is not okay. Usually when people do that to another human, you go to jail. But Justin Hall voluntarily took it. Oh my God. What a performance from the Edmonton Oilers. They came out tonight. They showed they're the real deal. Kenny Holland and, more importantly, Big Bad Brad, they're not done adding. They're getting more pieces, and we're going full steam ahead. Oilers to the moon. What did you guys think about the game tonight? Dennis, I'll ask you first, and obviously Shaden's joining us as well again today. Sorry, I'm super jacked.
I mean, I wanted to welcome Shaden in, and you know what, Zach? You almost slipped. You almost said Matthias Janmark.
I did. You caught that.
But honestly, this game from the beginning was such a clinic. And we were talking right before we were going live. I can't believe the amount of impact one player has had on the defense core of this team. You can see tonight, the Oilers' defensive core was amazing. Bar one mistake, we'll cover that later on. But my God, everyone was just playing like they actually wanted to. And you can see it's the Leafs. Half of the crowd at Rogers Place seems like they were Leaf fans.
Oh, yeah.
And the Oilers just fed it to him, just like Nuge fed Justin Hall.
Oh,
Shaden,
what do you think?
That was the most impressive game I've seen them play all year. Like you said, they put on a defensive clinic, and the Leafs are supposed to be this top 5 defensive team. And I'm not trying to trash Toronto, but I'm just saying. But like Matthias Ekholm, what a debut! You can't ask for a better debut than that. He just landed at Edmonton like at 1 p.m. Mountain Time. Showed up to rink, suit up. It's game time, and he was our best defenseman he was our best defenseman tonight. And the rest of the defense group was also good today. But like you guys said, I don't think I've seen one addition impact the team in such a big way. That was a hell of a game. That was probably one of my favorite games to watch this season.
Yeah, no, Dennis, you go.
Easily. Because going into this, the narrative was preordained, right? It was always going to be, okay, Matthews versus McDavid, Draisaitl versus Marner. You know what? Austin Matthews was invisible tonight. He did nothing of note. I mean, Marner, fine. He had his moments.
Matthias Janmark walked Ryan O'Reilly during this game. This is the most embarrassing performance. Oh my God. Who was it at the end of the game that I saw? Oh my God. Someone walked TJ Brody. That was all. Devin Shore walked TJ Brody right towards the end of the game as well. It was so funny to watch because again, the Oilers are still missing Evander Kane. They probably could use another top 6 winger, right? Kyler Yamamoto's playing way above his head, and who knows what's going to happen with that after the hit he took tonight. I'm sure we'll get into that more. But this was not a complete Oilers team, but you saw that effort, that intensity, that pace that they played with against Boston. They came into this game, and the addition of Ekholm this might have been Darnell Nurse's best game of the season. Evan Bouchard without Tyson Barrie is a different player on this team. He looks just more poised, more confident with the puck. There's no one standing in his way. He knows if he makes a mistake, he's not sitting on the bench for 25 minutes. He has the ball, it's in his court, and it's his responsibility, and he's taking full advantage of that. He was dancing with the puck. He looked like a young Dougie Hamilton. He was unbelievable. Oh my God. Like, right from puck drop, right? You're so nervous. And even though Ekholm's coming in, I'm still clenched. You have Stu Skinner starting, so obviously that's good. We don't want Jack in net. We know that the Maple Leafs, obviously being Jack Campbell's former team, they know his weakness, shots on goal. They know they were going to do that. The Oilers were going to lose. So obviously you put Skinner in. Ekholm makes his debut. And the Leafs are also, like, let's not forget, they added, 6 new players? Like, was Luke Shen in the lineup today?
No,
okay, yeah. So McCabe, Lafferty for sure. Ryan O'Reilly and Nola Chari is still pretty new. And then Luke Shen's obviously coming really soon here. But yeah, so I saw a lot of fans justifying, oh, well, the Leafs are having an off game. They're trying to input all these new players in the lineup. But I'm like, dog, Matthias Ekholm, one shift into the game, or like 10 minutes into the game, he's already got an assist. Could have had a McDavid hat trick. The guy's creating chances off his shot. He's defending like a champion. And no, like Matthias Ekholm fit like a glove. And it was unbelievable to watch, right? 1-0, Connor McDavid, 51st goal of the year. From that point on, I was like a rocket. I was like Bitcoin in 2019, just to the moon. It was unbelievable. What do you guys think of the Oilers play early on?
Jay, go ahead.
Well, I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm happy that I called the Ekholm edition. I brought him up, I think it was last week when we did the Philly game, and I was like, you know what? As good as Chikrin is, and I guess we can touch on Chikrin a bit later and how that went down. Ekholm just made all the sense in the world. Not only is he a puck mover, he's so sound defensively in his own zone. He has term left. He has 3 more years left after this year. And it literally made the most sense. And you pair him with Evan Bouchard. You saw what Bouchard did today, like Zach mentioned. I literally have no complaints. They were just the dominant team all the way through. Mm-hmm. And even the first period, right? The one glaring mistake they did ended up in the back of their net. And it wasn't even that bad. Like, I know what CC thought. It's like, okay, it's offside, right? Mm-hmm. But there's a reason why coaches say play to the whistle. There's no whistle. So, I didn't like how he assumed it was offside.
Yeah.
That was my problem.
I agree. Also, I will say that was a pretty weak shot from David Kampf that beat Skinner clean from, I'd say 15, 20 feet out again. Skinner played fine, and obviously, like, all the credit to him. But, like, ideally, you don't let that from David Kampf go from, unobstructed from 20 feet or 15 feet out. But again, is CC, you don't make that giveaway. You are the top pairing right shot defenseman on this team. I mean, hopefully, like in an ideal world, we would get someone to push CC down. If that happens, probably unlikely at this point. They're probably looking more towards a forward. But I'm so much more comfortable with the defense now. I am over the moon with the way they played, right? That's only the only mistake. I could say there was one more mistake from CC a little later on where he kind of was breaking the puck out of the zone, and Nurse got open for CC to make the breakout pass, but he held on to it for too long, and it could have been an Oilers odd man rush or even a 3-on-3 or 2-on-2 or whatever, but instead, because CC held on to it and he's not a skilled passer whatsoever, he ends up trying to make a way tougher pass. I think it was Matthews or Marner intercepts it, and the Leafs go and get a 3-on-2, but it's stopped by Skinner. So those were the only 2 defensive mistakes I saw. Again, the Oilers won 5-2, so I'm not trying to make a whipping boy out of anyone. But yeah, no, then right after it goes 1-1, McDavid gets his 52nd of the year. We got 5 straight 2-goal games by Connor McDavid. Like, no words. The guy's a beast. He almost had a hat trick in the third period. He kind of let up a bit for sure. The guy, like, what words can either of you use to describe Connor McDavid? Because it's unbelievable. I don't even know.
Man's superhuman. Like, they showed the graphic on Sportsnet, right, where this hasn't happened since like 100 years ago or something like that, where someone breaks to like 6 straight games. So is McDavid going to do it? Like, who knows? But when you're looking at guys and you're being compared to, like a Mario Lemieux, that's insane. That is just superhuman. And not to mention, McDavid, he's still so young. There's still so much room for his game to grow. And that's insane to think about. Shay?
Yeah, there's no other words. Like, he might hit 70 goals. and that would be insane. That'd be
so awesome.
It'd be awesome to troll the Leaf fans with that after their hype of Matthews last year. But
oh, totally.
But I mean, like, if there was any doubt that he was the best player in the world, I mean, this season is just putting that away. He is by far, bar none, not even close, the best player on this planet.
He's the third best player to ever play hockey. It's number 66, number 99, and Connor McDavid. That is it. One thing I want to say, guys, before we continue on, we got 27 likes already on the video. We got 60 of you guys watching. Let's try and hit 60 likes, and I know some of you guys are going to be popping in and out, and I'm sure we're going to have a ton of Leaf fans joining us. Maybe if the Oilers lost, we probably have a bunch more Leaf fans joining to dunk on us, but I'm so happy that's not the case. But yeah, let's try and hit 60 likes.
Leaf fans, stick around, because you know what? The LFR after this, same channel. LFR after this is not gonna look pretty. You might as well soak it up here first.
Man, I'm one of those guys that only enjoys LFRs after a loss. So man, am I excited to jump in and go spam that like button on the LFR today. But no, yeah, the Oilers played phenomenal. It was 2-1. Then you get Hyman getting his 29th of the year against his former team. He was absolutely jacked to score. I can't even remember who got the assist. I jump off the couch. Come to find out that's Mattias Ekholm's first point as an Edmonton Oiler. I wish I could say something else besides what a performance, but consistently the Oilers were outplaying the Leafs. Every battle, every puck, every possible way that they could have outplayed the Leafs, they did. The Leafs always in the past seemed to take it to them, but the Oilers they're jacked up. They were going. Everyone from Klim Kostin to Devin Shore to Matthias Janmark to Ryan McLeod showed up today, and it was awesome to watch. Yamamoto had a better game. He got a goal. Up that trade value, baby. Up that trade value.
You know what? And here's the wacky part too, right? Ekholm could have easily had another point tonight off of a beautiful pass, like 100-foot pass to Draisaitl. And if Hyman had been able to dangle it past Samsonov, that would have been just an absolute highlight reel. It's insane to think just one addition and this team is able to absolutely embarrass the Leafs. We'll see, because the next couple of games are still part of that murderer's row. But hey, if this is the way it's going to be for the next little bit, all the way into the playoffs, I'm happy. Even if, Holland, whichever one you want to say, doesn't make another move, I'm happy with how this team looks right now.
Oh, yeah. Here, Shaden, you go. Go ahead.
I think Stoff was right in his assessment when he said that I think the players are waiting for something to happen, because ever since the All-Star break, they weren't really playing well, obviously. They weren't starting on games on time. They were really bad in their own zone. It looked like the Oilers from, earlier this year. And, once again, Ekholm just makes a huge presence. It's so amazing to see how, not having just a whole bunch of offensive defensemen on your pairings just can make a difference. And, hopefully Holland's not done. Like you said, I hope they add another defenseman, preferably on the right side. But even if it's a minor addition, I'm confident in this defense core going forward. Yeah,
as is for sure. I definitely am much more confident today than I was going 2 days ago with this defense core. Even Brett Kulak today, there were such intricate defensive plays, breaking up odd man rushes, knocking down passes out of the air, right? Dennis, you want to say something?
You know what's incredible?
What?
I didn't notice too many Oilers icings tonight.
Yes,
there weren't that many times when it just got thrown down the ice.
Oh man,
I saw a couple times that happened in Toronto, and I'm like, what is this odd feeling? It's the other team that's committing all these atrocities, all these icings. It's the other team that's making all these unforced errors.
Yeah.
Just the addition of Matthias Ekholm, almost said Janmark,
No, I know it's gonna be
Just
tough.
one addition. It's so incredible how much this team has changed defensively.
Oh my god, yeah, they're gonna be fun to watch, and they're not slowing down. Again, like I said, they're gonna be adding more players. One thing that I wanted to take a look at here was the ice time. So Ekholm finished the game with over almost 21 minutes, 20 minutes and 50 seconds. Evan Bouchard played 19 minutes. I wonder what his season high is. It can't be that high because Bouchard was consistently down to like the 13 to 15 minute range earlier this year. Kulak only played 12 minutes, but he's a +1, performed very well in that role. Desharnais played more than Kulak, 14:54. Philip Broberg only with 8 minutes tonight, so that's something you keep your eye on. That's a little interesting for sure. I wonder if he finds his way, if they do make another addition on the back end, if he finds himself back in Bakersfield. But yeah, no, Stuart Skinner also with a .929 save percentage. One thing that we need to touch on before we forget, because oh my god, the adrenaline just spiked. First, you see Kyler Yamamoto cutting around the net, head down. Kyler Yamamoto's what, 5'6", 5'7". Justin Hall's 6'3", 6'2", something like that. Big guy, little guy, comes around. He smokes Yamamoto. Yamamoto's head goes into his shoulder, but that's just, again, because Hall is taller than him. That's not a predatory hit. It was a clean hit. But
it was shoulder, yeah.
Yeah, it was a clean hit. Yamo's just a lot shorter, and just what happens. But Ryan Nugent-Hopkins comes over. I'm surprised. I don't understand exactly why he didn't get an instigator penalty, because I think that's why the instigator's there, is to stop those kind of fights from occurring on a clean hit. But Ryan Nugent-Hopkins challenges Justin Hall. They throw off their gloves, and I'm like, oh, no, don't embarrass yourself. Just tie him up. And Ryan Nugent-Hopkins goes prime Rocky. Creed 3 is coming out this week, and I guess he went to an advanced screening because his technique was phenomenal. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins just feeding the uppercuts to Justin Hall, drops him. Rogers Place goes wild. I cannot remember a more exciting fight. That's got to be the most exciting fight since the Mike Smith-Cam Talbot fight. That was unbelievable to see. Ryan Nugent-Hopkins deserves to go in the Hall of Fame. He deserves a segment. He deserves hospital wings named after him after that fight. It was unbelievable.
Don't forget, one of the predecessors to that fight was Nugent Monahan.
Yes.
Nuge just steps up when it's time. You know what? The boy seems to fight every 3 years. It's hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing to see, because this is what you want when someone blows up one of your guys, right? And of course, Yamo, it looks extra bad because he's smaller, but when Nuge just went right over and ripped off the gloves, he wasn't taking no for an answer. You're right. It might have been worthy of an instigator penalty, but boy, did that really run through all of oil country, right? Everyone loves when Nuge drops the gloves.
Yeah. It doesn't happen too often. Oh, Shaden, you go ahead.
I was gonna say I'm just kind of worried about Yamamoto's health.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's already had, I think, 1 or 2 concussions this year. And if that's another concussion, like, he's 24, like, that's kind of worrying for his post-hockey career, even his hockey career now, right? That might be, an injury that cost him his season. If he is out, and the Oilers are already weak on the right wing because yesterday they shipped off Jessa Puljujärvi, they need a guy in the top 6. And I know a guy that is a great top 6 winger, and he would stop those hits from not happening, and he'd be a hell of a fit McDavid. And, I don't know if you guys want to talk about trade targets right now.
Let's get into it in like 5 more minutes. Let's talk a little bit more about the game. Let's use that. That's a great tease. But let's just talk a bit more.
Okay.
I want to mention Klim Kostin also had a great effort tonight. I want to highlight his game. He hadn't been shooting the puck recently. This game he got how many shots did Klim Kostin get? Klim had only 1 shot on goal. He had that drive to the net where he was tripped by a Leaf where he easily could have tucked it home. But he ended up getting the 1 shot, 1 goal at the pass from Ryan McLeod. I don't know who that Leafs defenseman was who fell down to defend that 2-on-1, but he absolutely did.
It was TJ Brody.
It was TJ Brody. He went like backwards and gave Ryan McLeod space. That was hilarious. I don't know what you were doing there. The defensive stalwart TJ Brody.
And on that play, I wanted to highlight as well, because Desharnais was holding up Tavares on the other side. They were tussling.
Good point.
So, and I mean, JT is a great defensive player as well. So the fact that Desharnais took him out of the fight a little bit, just getting on his nerves that tiny bit, enough for him to force a mistake, that's amazing to watch as well. Like the Oilers have that little bit of grit now, that little bit of sandpaper as well. And on the topic of Desharnais, we flew right past it, but the PK,
yes,
Desharnais and Ekholm, those are some giants,
dude. The first pair of defenders out on the PK was Ekholm and Desharnais, and I can't remember if this was on the penalty kill exactly, but like Desharnais in his reach just alone, like Sam Lafferty and Nola Chari had a 2-on-1, and Desharnais' reach just completely thwarted that effort, right? Just because he's so big and so lengthy. The Oilers, the shortest defenseman on the Edmonton Oilers is 6'2", like. Desharnais 6'6", Nurse and Ekholm are both 6'4", Broberg is 6'3", Cody Ceci is 6'2", and Bouchard is 6'2". I believe. I'm just rattled that off the top of my head, so I might be wrong there. But no, they are a bunch of big boys, and they are. It completely changed the complexion of the game. Hyman had 2 or 3 breakaways. What about that play right in the first where Matthias Ekholm? You're like, oh, did you just do an unforced error? Nope, right up to Leon at the offensive blue line into Zach Hyman for the partial breakaway. Like what a revelation that guy is. Like he is the best of both worlds. Like we all obviously we're talking Carlson, we're talking Jacob Chikrin, but to get a guy who is like a premier elite defender in the NHL, but still has the offensive prowess, especially at 5-on-5, to consistently drive play and get the puck up ice like he does. He's not a Joel Edmondson. When idiots were saying, oh, they need a defensive defender, let's get Joel Edmondson, who's like the slowest, oldest, fattest guy you could find. Let's get him. That's what everyone wanted. But to get a guy, this is what we actually needed. Yes, he is great defensively, but he also moves the puck like an absolute stallion. He doesn't, there's no moment where Matthias Ekholm is going to find himself in trouble. There's no off the glass and out with this guy. Did you see on the power play when he was out late in the game when he did that bank pass off the boards to Connor, kind of like fully horizontal 90-degree bank pass? Never seen anything like that. So yeah, no, I thought it was a phenomenal game from everyone. One thing I also want to touch on, the power play was absolutely fine without Tyson Barrie. Did not miss a blink. Evan Bouchard was phenomenal. If anyone was worried about the drop passes in the Oilers zone, I think Evan Bouchard did a phenomenal one on the second or third power play. So no need to worry there. We can clip it and send it to anyone who's worried and whatnot. But yeah, so I think we all agree this was a drumming. This was the old not safe for work kind of performance from the Oilers. Like this, it was awesome. You guys have any final thoughts on the game before we move on to talking about some trade targets?
Yeah, actually, one thing. This is the Oilers' first win in Rogers Place in regulation against Toronto. Their only other win came in overtime, came in the bubble, and I think it was the McDavid overtime winner. So yeah, the Oilers finally beat the Leafs in regulation in their own building.
Yeah. Absolutely. Dennis?
Yeah, no, it was a great game, and to kind of add on to that as well, I think this was Woodcroft's 100th NHL game, 59th win. Hey, that's over 50%. That's what we need, baby. Mm-hmm. Keep it running.
Absolutely.
Woody, he made good use of the guys tonight, and I'm happy with the performance going forward.
Absolutely. And not only did the Oilers win up 2 points in the standings tonight, they also won the deserve to win a meter, and that's what matters. So anyways, moving on. So obviously Ken Holland was on the broadcast today. He said that they're still shopping around. We kind of know that. We know the Oilers aren't done. They're full all-in mode. They're buy now. Question is to you, and I'll ask both of you this. We'll start with Dennis and we'll go to Shaden. If the Oilers can only add one more target, who would you want it to be, or what position do you want, or ideally in a perfect world, what do the Oilers add before March 3rd at 3 p.m. Eastern?
Well, the clear answer is a right winger, right? And prior to what happened earlier in this afternoon, I was thinking, hey, there's a guy out in Arizona that you want maybe on your blue line, and you could package him for a guy up front as well. But unfortunately, I think I looked on Twitter during the game. It looks like Nick Bjugstad for Arizona is injured moving forward with an upper body injury. So it looks like that acquisition might not make sense anymore. That was going to be my guy.
Nick Schmaltz is injured too.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Like it's a tough one, you know. if it's still possible, I'd like to get that right wing. I just don't bring back like a Derek Brassard. We don't need another like penalty killing center.
Yeah.
We're good on that front, Kenny Holland.
Shaden?
So I was kind of hinting towards this.
Mm-hmm.
If you want someone to protect the guys who can also score and play in your top six, the guy I trade everything for, or not, maybe not everything, but the guy I would love is Tom Wilson.
Okay, we are going there. We're going there. Yeah. Go on.
Yeah. Washington is clearly selling.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe not selling, but they're retooling. Wilson has another year left, I think around $5 million. Frank Saravelli actually released an article today saying the Oilers can easily bring on a $5 million contract, and that's what he makes.
Yep.
Like that would be my main target.
Mm-hmm.
I was thinking about going right-hand defenseman, but I think he can actually get by.
Wait.
I mean, we put on a masterclass defensive clinic against the Leafs. I think they'll be fine when they play, Winnipeg this upcoming weekend.
Mm-hmm.
But no, they need a top six right winger. That's kind of like the last piece they really need.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Wilson is 100% my target, and I wouldn't even care if they traded a first and like a good prospect. I don't care. I want him on my team.
Oh, he would be phenomenal. Having Tom Wilson on line 1, Evander Kane on line 2, like and all the grit lovers would be absolutely going bananas over that.
Talk
addition.
about sandpaper.
So as far as wingers go, I know as far as right wingers go, there isn't much. Tom Wilson, I believe, is a right winger, or maybe he's a left winger. I'm not 100% sure, so I would need someone in the chat to let me know. But I would love Tom Wilson. I know the other guy that has been available and it's kind of been hinted at here and there. Frank Saravelli brought him up, and we heard his name in a few places. The Detroit Red Wings are obviously trying to move Jacob Vrana. I think Tyler Bertuzzi to a lesser extent, but he would cost quite a bit. I think there'd be a bunch of teams in on him, and I know there are players with term out there that you can get with the first, and I'd rather give up that additional first if we're getting back a player with term like a Tom Wilson. So, Tom Wilson would be absolutely huge. He's an elite finisher, something that the team in the top six kind of lacks, aside from 29 and 97, obviously. I know, let's just talk about Vrana first, because Vrana, I feel like, is a more realistic possibility. Vrana makes like 5.25. Detroit, if they don't trade him at this deadline, they're going to buy him out. They want him gone. They're showcasing him. He was on waivers earlier this year. He's in the top, believe it, goals per 60 in the NHL in the last, 2 or 3 seasons, not including this year. Obviously, because he only played 4 games. But he would be someone who is one of the best finishers that Connor McDavid has ever played with if he comes here and returns, assuming he returns to form. He wouldn't cost too much. I think you could probably get him for a package like Yamo and a pick and retained, you know what I mean? Like just that dollar in, dollar out, and you're bringing in a guy who's significantly better than Kyler Yamamoto. Just to talk about Tom Wilson, the only thing that I think of about Tom Wilson, and we're all about the here, we're all about the now. So I love it. He would be my number one target too. The only thing that I think about trading that 2024 first is if we're bringing in Tom Wilson, he's got another year with, I'm fine with it. The reason why I don't want to trade it for Tyler Bertuzzi, and I might be nuts, I might be out to lunch, I might be thinking NHL 22, way too crazy, way too far ahead. I feel like you guys might have an idea where I'm going with this, but in the offseason, if the cap does go up, we'll see what happens with Bally Sports. We'll see what contracts they move out if they can move on from CC in the summer again. This is way down the road. I'm thinking way too far ahead. But if we do have that 2024 first, and Erik Karlsson requests a trade from San Jose, and they're not going to get near the same package that we offer them in the season, I would like to have that first round pick around in order to be competitive, giving an offer for Erik Karlsson and be able to prime away from San Jose. But again, that I feel like that's thinking way too far ahead. If we have a chance to bring in a guy like a Tom Wilson and it costs a 2024 first, Borgo, and a Warren Fogle, you absolutely do it. Or, I think, man, that would be sick. Because, they have, $1 to $2 million in cap space with or without Devin Shore on the roster, depending on how you look at it. And then you have your tradable assets, your tradable wingers that you can upgrade on in a Fogle or a Yamamoto. And they definitely were quiet. They definitely were looking to probably upgrade on those guys, and their names have been floated out there. But I love the idea of Tom Wilson. I think he would be sick. I thought he was going to Pittsburgh 3 hours ago. So, Yeah, he's definitely. I'm sure his name's definitely in rumors. But Dennis, yeah, you didn't give your thoughts on Tom Wilson. What would you think about adding? I know it's a little dreamy scenario, but what would you think about adding Tom Wilson to the Edmonton Oilers?
I'd love it. Honestly, dude's 28. He's right in that season. He has one more year past this. It'd be incredible to add a Tom Wilson. And like you said, it's just that fear that would strike into other teams' hearts, right? You got Tom Wilson, you got Evander Kane. These are guys that if you stick to McDavid and Draisaitl, no one's bothering them. Like you saw earlier tonight, McDavid started getting ridden up a little bit, I think by Riley. They showed it in the highlights during one of the intermissions where, yeah, I mean, Riley got absolutely embarrassed by McDavid in the past. So he's riding him a little bit harder. You got a guy like Kane or Wilson on McDavid's line. You know, if you're pushing him into the post, you're going to get a fistful, and it's not going to be from Nuge this time.
Michael, sorry, I just want to ask Michael in chat says Wilson isn't the same anymore. I know the JFresh charts and all the other advanced numbers seem to say that he's still consistent as hell. He's still an elite player.
He's been injured.
Yeah.
Sorry, he's been injured this year, but he still has 5 goals in 13 games, 7 points in 13 games, and he's coming off a huge ACL injury. So he's actually been kind of productive coming off a major injury, not playing all year. So no, I disagree. I think he'd be a huge addition to this squad.
Awesome. Yeah, but I just want to say one more time before we continue. There is 75 people watching now. We only got 47 likes. Our like goal we set tonight was 60. So if we can get 13 more likes tonight, that would be fantastic. Oilers win. We want to keep it rolling. We want to keep game over rolling. We want to keep the Oilers success rolling. So let's get it. Let's keep going. We got 48 more games to the deadline. And the next time that the Edmonton Oilers play, when they play the ice against the Winnipeg Jets on Friday night at Rogers Place, the trade deadline will have passed, and we will know what these Oilers look like going into the playoffs. Over under 1.5 moves before 3 p.m. Eastern on Friday. Dennis, and then Shaden.
You know what, guys? As much as I love activity, and we played against a team tonight where it seems like no player is safe, everyone's moving, I'm going with the under on this one. I think there's one more trade, and unless something really jumps, an offer that you can't refuse type of situation, I think that one trade for a right winger, and then we're done for this trade deadline. Shay?
I'm gonna go over. Broberg playing 8 minutes to me is eye-opening. I don't think Ken Holland wants Broberg to play 8 minutes up here. I don't. I think he would easily rather have Vinny Darnay play those 8 minutes. And if you're going to the playoffs with Vinny Darnay as your third right-hand defenseman, he's been good, but that's not ideal. So I think they're gonna add a third pair right-hand defenseman. Someone else from Washington I actually want to mention, Trevor Van Riemsdyk. That's someone I'd be interested in. I wanted Nick Jensen, but he extended, sadly. But yeah, I think we're gonna go get a winger, whether it's a bottom 6 guy or top 6 guy, and I think we're gonna go get a depth defenseman. Kenny, Brad, whoever it is, they've been cooking lately, and I actually have hope heading into Friday. Last week, it was kind of miserable. Even after the win, it's like, bleak. Okay, are they going to stay pat? They might add a small addition, but the Ekholm addition changed everything. Obviously, Kenny said he's not done adding. I'm excited to see what they do Friday, and it's gonna be a fun day.
Yeah, Black Mascara is just joining us from Germany, so he says hi. I want to say what's up. We need 10 more likes to hit 60, so let's keep pumping that. David says Eric Carlson. I wish, but unfortunately, probably not. Until the summer, then who knows? McNader says EK or Domi. If you're talking about Ekholm, then we already got him in Max Domi. Hopefully, I mean, he would be a cool addition. I know we've been rumored talking about a Nick Bukestad. Nick Bukestad only makes $800,000, so that would be someone who's super easy to add. To me, that more signifies something that you would do at again, 2:00 Eastern on deadline day if you miss out on all your other forward targets. As far as defensemen go, I know you brought up Trevor Van Riemsdyk, who would be a really good addition. I saw you send his charts, and he obviously looks like a really good defenseman. I like Damon Severson, but I know you said New Jersey Devils fans are kind of low on him for some reason, but I think you could get him I bet you could probably pry him out of there for a second. Who else? Radko Gudas is the other one. Who knows what Florida's doing at the deadline, but no, there's a ton of still interesting options out there. Obviously, what I think the top priority should be that middle 6 winger. If you could swing a Tom Wilson, what a deadline that would be. You're trading for I sent out this tweet earlier, but you're adding a Matthias Ekholm, you're trading for a Tom Wilson, and you're trading for a Vander Kane off injured reserve. So like, what an absolute bonkers Hall of Fame caliber deadline that'll be. But yeah, no, that was a great night. We're obviously going a little bit long here. We're already at, we're at 30. We're actually at prime Adam Wild length. Dennis and I tend to go way over, and then Adam shows up in our phone with a gun pointed at us, telling us to
no narcs.
Yeah, exactly. Telling us to keep it short, keep it sweet, keep it short, sweet, simple, concise. But yeah, other than that, like, because the Oilers didn't make too many mistakes, it was almost a perfect game from them. So there isn't much to talk about there. We've already got our big defenseman, so that kind of takes a lot of the worry off all shoulders. Oh, one thing we should touch on right before. Again, it's so funny when it's not you. For years, the Oilers have made trades where we're the laughing stock of the NHL. How many times a year do you still hear the trade is 1-for-1, right? Where did that all start? It was us. Every bad trade, it seems like, in the last 10 years was an Edmonton Oilers move. And you knew that you heard the Vladislav Gavrikov name floating around, and we were all so scared that he was going to end up in Edmonton. We were so scared. And we were so worried that, our playoff opponent, the most likely playoff opponent, the LA Kings, were going to get Jacob Chychrun. And what does Rob Blake do? An absolute masterclass, decides to trade away the franchise legend Jonathan Quick in a cap dump to add Jonas Korpisalo, who's been over the last 3 years, one of the worst goalies in the NHL. I know he's been hot for the last 3 months or whatever, but could stay that way in the playoffs, could come crashing back down to earth. Nobody knows. But they also add Russian Chris Russell. So, yeah, that was pretty awesome to see. LA Kings fans are absolutely crushed. I'm over here, like the jerk I am, laughing in the corner. Oh, it's hilarious. Again, we got a juggernaut stalwart defenseman, and they got, Pennywise from It. Like, I don't even know. Yeah, what did you guys think when you saw LA make their big swing?
Jay, you go first.
Yeah, I was laughing. Because the past 2 months, it's been, Jacob Chychrun's going to LA. Jacob Chychrun is going to LA. 2 weeks ago, I don't know who reported it. It was some LA insider, but there's an 80%. Yeah, there's an 80% chance that Jacob Chychrun is going to be an LA King, and that didn't happen. Instead, Jacob Chychrun's an Ottawa Senator. And the price was nothing.
Yeah.
Which is even more. I think Bill Armstrong played this terribly.
Oh, agreed.
He asked for too much, and all of our suitors walked away. Boston went to Orlov. Toronto went McKay. We went Ekholm. LA got literally the worst option out of all of them. And, he had no other suitors, and he had to deal for what is such an underwhelming package. Even last year, there was rumors about Velarde in the first going to Arizona, and all he got was 3 conditional draft picks.
I just want to say this. Bill Armstrong was on the 1 yard line with LA, but instead of he had Marshawn Lynch in the backfield, instead of just running the ball into the end zone, what does he do? He elects to throw it. It's intercepted by Malcolm Butler, and Patriots win, right? Just an absolute all-time bag fumble by Bill Armstrong. Again, let's not forget about the other all-time bag fumbler, Mike Greer. Passed up on what the Oilers offered for Erik Karlsson, and they are not going to get near the package that they got for Erik Karlsson due to all the uncertainty surrounding him this offseason. Does his play fall off? Who knows? He's an older guy. You got to take on that contract. Yeah, but both Mike Greer not only messed up Erik Karlsson, also messed up the Timo Meier trade. Also traded Mikey Eciamont for Vladislav Nemestikov for no reason. Weird trade to me, but whatever. Those are the 2 losers of the deadline. The Kings are not far behind, and the Oilers, in my eyes, if we're already at an A. If we can add anything else, A plus, honestly. What? I'm ecstatic. I'm ecstatic. But. Yeah,
absolutely.
Else?
Yeah, I think you're right. Ottawa, huge pickup. The fact that they were just patient, right? Is essentially LA fumbled hard, and then Ottawa was able to capitalize on Arizona's mistake as well. One interesting little thing that happened as well. Arizona also got rid of Ghost Bear. Ghost
Yep.
Bear is going to Carolina.
Not
It's a
here.
2026 third round pick.
Mhm.
It's you know what? This trade deadline has been wild. Not only in how early everything's been happening. Again, might not have a lot to do on Friday, but it's also just been wild for these varying asks. Like you mentioned, Shaden, like LA was apparently right there, almost done with Chikrin. The report was Bill Armstrong asked a little bit too much at that last moment, tried to change the deal. Apparently, same thing happened in Edmonton. Holland again had a deal ready, and Bill Armstrong asked a little bit more, and he screwed himself out of two deals.
Yep. That is true. What we've heard and what we can gather, again, not these are like third, fourth party people. Like this is not anything crazy, but essentially when the Oilers made the trade, when they traded Jesse Puljujarvi's salary to Carolina, they were under the impression, like they were far down the road with Bill Armstrong on negotiations for Jacob Chikrin, but for whatever reason, the deal fell apart. I don't know if it was Bill Armstrong wouldn't take any contracts back, which is what it's looking like it was, or if Bill Armstrong at the last minute tried to get a little bit more out of Ken Holland, similar to the rumor with what happened with LA like 2 weeks ago. And then Ken Holland kind of kiboshed that, moved back to David Poile. He said he was talking to all week, picked up Matthias Ekholm, and honestly, Ekholm's a better defenseman. So I'm super happy. Chikrin injury prone. We kind of have the same thing in Darnell Nurse. We didn't really need him. Who wants that? A little redundant, right? So,
But not to take away, this Friday, the SDP is going to be bringing you trade deadline coverage live. The SDP boys are going to be doing the whole all the way up to the deadline, and then game over. There's a special edition where every Canadian market is going to get to chime in. It'll be hosted by Audie James of Game Over Calgary. Let's see what his team does. Hey, it's going to be a fun one. Join us all day on Friday, and Friday night, the Oilers do have a game. We're playing March 3rd. It's against the Jets. It'll be 7:00 Mountain Time puck drop. I gotta do this one solo because Zach, you're going to watch the game.
First Oilers game all year. I haven't. Last year I was at like 7. This year, because of game over, it's just been impossible to get to some games. So I'm gonna be there. I'm super psyched. I'm actually going to the Flames Leafs game tomorrow too, in Calgary, and then I'm gonna drive out to Edmonton, hit that game. It's gonna be fun. It's gonna be intense deadline day. We're all super excited. I'm on pins and needles waiting to see what Ken Holland does next. I want to see if any other surprise trades like the Vancouver trade. Does JT Miller get traded? It seems like all the big trades have happened already, but who knows? This has been one of the craziest, the craziest deadline I can ever remember. It's been absolutely fantastic. Want to say what's up because Robert joining us really late. But I hope to see all you guys in chat joining us deadline day for the Game Over trade deadline stream where we break everything down. Hit the like button. Thank you for joining. Let's play La Bamba, baby, and Dennis will have you here on Friday. So long from now. The Oilers win 5-2 over the Toronto Maple Leafs. Have a great rest of your night and stay safe. Play La Bamba, baby.
Play La Bamba, baby.